Hello and welcome to Wedflics. I'm Julia Braime, I'm your host. I'm the editor of UNVEILED magazine and also the founder and editor of Brides Up North, the top wedding blog for northern couples. Today I'm joined on the programme by Karen of Tipi Unique. Karen is an event partner at our Wedfest tour and she knows everything there is to know about planning a Tipi wedding. Today's episode is brilliant if you're thinking of taking the outdoors route for your wedding, and we touch on everything from finding a venue, a field, to setup, to logistics, to theming and styling. It's all here. So I hope you enjoy it. So, hi Karen, welcome to Wedflics. It's lovely to have you.
Hey Julia, it's so nice to be talking to you. We love our catch-ups.
We do. We've just had a bit of a catch-up off camera, but we've saved all the best bits for the film. So this is Karen. She is the owner of Tipi Unique, and we work together with Karen on our massive Wedfest tour events. She's brilliant, and we've got lots and lots of questions for her today, all about tipis and styling in tipis too. Exactly. So Karen, let's introduce yourself and your business.
Thank you, Julia. I'm Karen from Tipi Unique. We're a tipi hire and furnishings hire company based in Cheshire in the Northwest. So we cover the whole of the Northwest with fab events all summer long and all year long as well if you want a winter event.
Yeah, because tipis, that's a bit of a misconception, isn't it? Tipis don't just have to be for summer.
Absolutely not, Julia. Spot on. Great work. Yes, they're absolutely superb in the summer because you can open up all the sides and let the views in and the light in, and it is spectacular. But I have to say, something really magical happens in winter because they can be closed down, super cozy, twinkly lights, open fire pits. Oh my God, it's just the best space in the winter as well. So totally different, but amazing either time of year.
So that's interesting. So we're filming at the moment during lockdown in the UK because of coronavirus. But this film will obviously stay up for a lot longer than that. But just for the brides who are sort of worried about rearranging their weddings, I guess that actually, if they have to move their date from, say, a May date that have already moved to like an autumn date or a winter date, that is doable, isn't it, with a tipi?
100%, Julia. It's actually one of the biggest benefits of the tipis and from working with ourselves. So we've seen many a kind of different types of weather situation, and we've seen it kind of like be quite changeable in the May sort of time of year, and actually sometimes in the summer it can be a little bit kind of iffy. So it's always good to be planning for both scenarios, and we will help all of the couples kind of work their way through that. And we've got loads of amazing things that they can use. So we've got kind of extra equipment, heaters, weatherproofing fronts, doors, all kinds of things. So although it might initially feel a little bit different, it could actually be even more spectacular than kind of what they had in mind, because it'll give them a different vibe.
Or maybe quite romantic as well. Nothing like
totally dreamy and totally like unbelievable when you see them any time of year. So whatever we have to do, wherever the dates move to, they'll still be awesome, because people just have that little bit longer now to kind of think about a few of the details and things and just get it kind of 100% right with our sort of expertise and support.
It's funny, so I've been interviewing all sorts of different wedding industry professionals, and I get so excited on these calls. So I start thinking, I want to have a party in a tipi.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we should have one. We'll have one.
100%. In the kind of 5 years that we've kind of been doing it, we've never thrown ourselves like our own party apart from our own wedding back in 2015. So we think we're long overdue a proper good tipi party.
For sure. Let's combine and do like an industry party for all the wedding industry people who are working so unbelievably hard at the moment, trying to sort their brides and grooms out.
If we can just make everyone smile again, that'd be brilliant. So yeah, we're so good for that.
It would. Right. Okay. So you mentioned you've been doing it for 5 years.
Yes.
So how did Tipi Unique begin? And like, what's your background? How did you get into doing this, to providing the celebration tent?
This is such a lovely question, and I love sharing this. It's so special. So we got engaged in 2013, and Matt and I have always been kind of quite outdoorsy. So Matt's my husband and the other owner of Tipi Unique. And we've always liked heading up into the lakes. We love walking. We love sort of sitting by the lake and just watching the world go by. And we knew from the outset that we wanted a wedding that had a very close connection to nature, and we knew that the Lake District was our sort of like area that we wanted to get married, but we didn't know exactly kind of what we wanted until we'd kind of done a bit of research. So we checked out hotels, barns, a few different things, but nothing felt like it kind of resonated with us. And then we went to an open day, Tipi open day, and oh my God, the feelings and the kind of emotion was just completely mind-blowing. And the second we walked in and we saw all the fairy lights and the coloured lights accenting all around the space and the beautiful open plan area, we were literally sold that minute. And then all the way home, Matt was like, I think we should do this. Let's do this ourselves. Let's just not get married to the Tipis. Let's start our own Tipi business. So I was like, Matt, I just want to plan a wedding. And he was like, come on, we can do this. We can do this. So we just took the plunge, and sort of back in kind of 2015, we took delivery of the first Tipis, and we'd had our first bookings for June that year. So it was literally, it all just happened in a whirlwind, to be honest. But we
so absolute like lightning moment, like a lightning bolt moment.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you get married in your own Tipi then, or in someone else's?
We did. We got married in our own Tipis.
Can't believe
so incredible. And actually, because we kind of wanted that surprise for our guests, we didn't tell them anything. So we told them to rock up to a field in the Lake District. We gave them the postcode. We said, don't come in your stilettos, just come in like casual, comfy, festival kind of wear. And then when they turned up at the field, there were kind of our Tipis and our wedding set up. And during kind of our sort of speeches, Matt announced that obviously they were our Tipis. We'd started the business and we'd been doing it for a whole summer that year, and nobody had any ideas. So we had to come up with lots of creative excuses as to where we were from sort of like May through September. No, we couldn't be at this garden party because we were setting up a Tipi and you're in somewhere in, you know, across the northwest or wherever further afield. But yeah, it was pretty spectacular. Lots of big reactions when we kind of announced it. So it was made even more like unbelievable that day because of that reason.
Oh, I've got goosebumps from that story.
Thank you.
Special.
It's lovely because it means that we've got first-hand experience of planning our own Tipi wedding, and like every single time someone asks for any support or any information or guidance, I think back to that moment where we were thinking, what do we do? How do we even begin to plan a wedding that's so different from what's perceived to be the norm?
Well, so, exactly, because I think couples can be a little bit sort of almost put off by that, because they think, oh, if I got to do everything, you know, what about, well, and also they maybe don't think of anything like what about generators, what about toilets, all the sort of like boring stuff, really, unless you know, like Matt, just want to do it yourself. So talk us through the process of booking with you. So like if a bride and groom or bride and bridegroom and groom are thinking, oh, I'd like to have a Tipi wedding, that sounds amazing. Like from that initial thought, where do they go next? Like how can you help them?
That is all they need, Julia. Just that little spark of saying that that's what they want to do, that's enough. And I can, myself and our team, we can kind of guide them through everything that they would need to know. So I think what's really special about kind of the way that we approach it is that we give them that complete wraparound support. So like most people kind of associate booking a venue with having kind of a staff team and lots of run through meetings and lots of planning calls. It's exactly the same with having a Tipi wedding. So they're not on their own, and no matter what questions they've got, we'll have kind of seen similar things before, and we'll have experienced all of the kind of concerns or initial questions that they want to kind of get confident with. We can kind of take them through that process. So, and that extends to absolutely everything. So one of the big questions is, where can they have a Tipi wedding?
That would be my first question. Like, do I need a field?
Well, do you know what? Honestly, it's actually like there's so many places that you could put the teepees, and my job is to kind of inspire people to just think a bit more kind of creatively and out of the box. So like we've done teepee weddings at village halls, we've done teepee weddings in pub beer gardens, campsites, school playing fields. Obviously, we've done private sort of venues and people who have spaces at their family homes or properties. We know a whole host of kind of venues across the Northwest who run events, you know, week in, week out, so they can accommodate teepees. So there's literally so many places actually when you start looking. But what we kind of like really like to get to know our couples, and we'll ask them loads of really key questions. So what's important to one couple will be totally different for the next. So some people might say to us, I really want a kind of a venue that's actually got kind of some form of staff support that'll be on hand throughout the day. Some people will say they want the complete opposite, and they want the freedom to do whatever they want and not have anybody there kind of overseeing the day or kind of inputting into the day. So it's a complete spectrum of what people want. And sometimes people want accommodation, or they want the setting to be the most sort of important element. So it's about trying to get into their mindsets and really start unpicking what would be right for them. And then
because that's the interesting thing, isn't it, that actually the setting can be so different.
Yes,
if definitely. I were having it, it's hard, isn't it? Because if I were having a teepee, again, putting myself in the shoes of the couple, if I were having a teepee party or a teepee wedding, I think I'd either want to have it like in my garden,
yes,
you know, if it would fit. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at my lawn at winter hip thinking, I wonder if the teepee would fit on there.
We can come and measure up.
Yeah, well, I think we should, you know, for a future celebration.
Indeed.
So that, or I would want it to be like, you know, in the Dales or somewhere amazing, you know, like really like special background scenery, because that is just amazing, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Like that's what we picked for our day. Like we didn't really have any other idea, but we wanted it to be as close to the lake as possible. And a venue would say to us, you could have a teepee or a marquee, but it has to be 20 meters away from the lake. And we were like, no, we want to be 2 meters away from
really? Wow.
We were very clear we wanted a farmer's field on the edge of the lake. And you know, it was just perfect. The venue that we found actually kind of gave us complete freedom to do whatever we wanted. We had the field for almost an entire week, so we had loads of time before and after just to enjoy the whole run up to the wedding. And we just had friends and family come and muck in and help with decorations and things like that. So the whole journey was amazing. And you know, I would never change a single thing because the setting was just perfect. And it was actually quite sort of personal as well, because my dad used to kind of go up camping to that particular field. So
really?
To have our wedding in that field was like, it was so like special and really hard to kind of put it into words, but will be one of the most like amazing feelings that we ever had, because Dad wasn't with us on the day of the wedding, but to know that he was like, that was a special place for him, such a sentimental setting, and really kind of made the whole day really. So go for it is what our advice is. Find those special places, kind of find somewhere that's meaningful to yourselves, and just embrace it, and we can help you deliver it with all the practical things that you need. And sometimes you might not need as much as you think, because you might be able to use facilities at nearby buildings or venue spaces. So we'll take you through what you absolutely will need and won't need, and can give you that advice super early on so that you can start building it into your own plans.
Now, one thing I will say from working with you, Karen, is you are literally the most organised person I have ever met in my entire life. Like, I'm quite organised.
You are indeed, Julia, yes.
I feel like you kick my ass. You make me do my work. You get me sorted. And you're like, make decisions. Honestly, it's incredible. So if there's anybody that I would trust to deliver a wedding in a random field somewhere, it's absolutely you, because you know, you're on it with kind of like layouts, you're on it with site maps, you're on it with venue visits. Sometimes I need a break from Karen, I'll be honest.
Yeah, do you know what? A few people say that actually, to be honest, Julia, but it's like, it's always been the way. I think we're just so passionate about making sure that people's days are exactly what they want them to be. And it stems back to that kind of feeling that we want to make sure that like throughout the whole journey, people know what to expect. And there's a lot of kind of moving cogs when you're planning a wedding of this kind. And I think it's just really important that we show people the things that they need to be thinking about, and actually give them the tools that they will need to become like TP experts, TP aficionados themselves, and actually just be able to know what's gonna make their day really sort of special to themselves. And that's so different from everybody else, you know, from each couple's so different. And so it does require a real mad passion for details, Julia.
No, but it's fantastic because like, to be honest, if you are planning a TP wedding and you don't have that confidence in your team, then you've got some real worries, haven't you? Like if you don't know if they're going to turn up on time, if you don't know that it's going to be done how they've said. But with you guys, I can 100% recommend you, because I know that the level of detail and planning that goes in before the day, then you turn up on the day and you work like a well-oiled team of SAS members.
Yeah, definitely.
To get that TP absolutely perfect. And it's that confidence that a bride and groom, a wedding couple, could book you and just know that it's sorted.
Yeah, and that for us is the one thing that kind of, when we think about every single kind of couple that we work with, if we know that we've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, and covered everything, every possible eventuality, and given them the faith that it will be perfect, and more often than not, actually what they say to us is it's way better than what they could have ever imagined, no matter how much planning we've put into it. It's just like you say, it's those finishing touches and the focus on quality and actually making sure that we deliver what we say we're going to deliver. We do it in the time frames that we've told them. We're realistic with time frames, and we've given them all the information about what day we'll be on site, what day we'll come back to site to take it down, how long they've got the structures for, what they can do with them in that time. It just means that they've got that freedom to enjoy it thoroughly, and that's what we want for everybody. That's what we wanted, and that's what we try and kind of sort of give to all of our couples, is that kind of sense of, these are yours for the weekend. Have the best time that you possibly can with our help and with our support, and just enjoy every minute, because they are simply out of this world, and there's no space like them. And I will always say that, and I will always like still be astounded by how beautiful and different and bold they are when we see them.
What does make your TPs special?
Oh, Julia,
what are the different elements, whether like practically speaking or stylistically?
There's so many different things, and I think I've been having to think about this for a little while. I think for me it's the scale of the structures. So they're so enormous in terms of like scale, height, and they're just, when they join together, because that's what's really unique about the TPs, is that you're not limited to one space here, one space there, another space kind of in another room like you might get with a venue. You can actually have everything just kind of flowing on from one another in a great big gorgeous open plan space, and it just means that everybody at any time of the wedding or celebration is able to kind of be thoroughly and literally involved in every single element of the day. So even if Nan and Grandad are sat in a cozy sort of sofa area with sipping their kind of like tea and dunking the biscuit, and over the other side of the teepee there's kind of a group of people having a massive party and dancing the night away, they're all still kind of experiencing that unforgettable kind of celebration. And that's really lovely, because it's those shared experiences, I think, and like actually like not having like segregated areas or zones, but having the whole thing together, and even the outside space flowing into the inside space, and people just being able to go wherever they want and enjoy different areas. And different people tend to do a lot of like activities at TP weddings, so there's always there'll be a cool photo booth potentially, or there'll be an amazing glitter bar or something like that. Or
love those.
Oh yeah, or like
I'm all about the glitter bar until later.
Yes, until when?
later. When you wake up the next morning with, like, you know, glitter all over your face.
That's actually my favourite bit, when you wake up like that. I actually think that's...
No, but mine's always accompanied by like an extreme hangover.
No, I like to go to breakfast with the glitter still on and things, and keep it on for as long as possible. So, but yeah.
I never make breakfast. I've already talked about this with one of our other interviews. I never make breakfast because for me, the lion is part of the...
Yeah, definitely. I like to be up and like seeing what happened the night before. That's one of my favorite things, and that's actually what we love about the Tipis, because we always say to people, if you've got the opportunity at the venue or wherever you've chosen, like, get everyone back together on the day after the wedding, and get everybody to have like brunch, and get everybody to
fun
crafts, and it's really special because people kind of make a whole weekend of it, and they make sure that they've got the people around them that mean the most to them, that will kind of give them a weekend to remember. And that's priceless for us, because it's to give someone that opportunity and to know that they can have them on the Sunday and just like maybe put the tunes back on and have a boogie again on the Sunday, or kind of round up the loose flip-flops or the random ties tied around the poles. And it's brilliant. So yeah, it's dead nice. It's really lovely, and we do take a lot of kind of pride in that fact that they're theirs for the weekend, and we won't bother them. We won't be sat at the sidelines checking in on them or saying you can't do this or you can't do that. We're like, no, go for it, have the best weekend, make it your own, really kind of embrace it and just enjoy the kind of total unique sort of setting for that time period.
Yeah, I think what's funny about Tipis is we could like bang on about it all day about how special they are, but really, like, you've got to get in one to feel the magic, haven't you?
100%.
And, like, we're hosting, fingers crossed, our Wedfest this October. I think we'll be all right. All right, this October at Capesthorne Hall. Wedfest is really special anyway, but you know, take some time to come to that event and get inside Karen's Tipis.
Yes,
they'll be all dressed and kind of like looking beaut, but come in and feel the magic, because we can't tell you what the magic is until you get in them. Even down to, you know, like if you go into a tipi, and these are not your tipis, and they're not dressed nicely, and it's about mass catering, but even a tipi like at a York Christmas market or whatever, when you go into a tipi like that, you still feel that tipi magic, you know, but imagine that, but on like another level of beautiful, and that's what Karen's doing. And that magic is, when you were talking about like the granny and grandpa being in one area with the fire and then the party in the bit, I can imagine that, because I've been in your tipis and I've almost like felt the fairy lights, like, definitely. You know, and the smell of them, and like the weight of the air in them and things is quite sort of special. It's a unique experience. Tipi Unique. Experience.
Very good, Julia.
I didn't really do that, actually. Good branding, Karen. Yeah, I think it's worth kind of feeling it for yourself when we finally can. And until then, there's lots of stuff you can look at online. Check out Karen's Instagram, because your images from all your real weddings and things are on there. What's your Instagram handle? And we'll pop it in here.
Tipi Unique.
Very easy. So you can.
Super.
So we can, you can sort of check out the images and things. But as soon as you can, sort of get yourself to an open event, come to our Wedfest and see for yourself. In terms of kind of styling extras and stuff, I know you kind of go, well, this is why I got to know you, isn't it? Because we met at the National Wedding Show.
We did.
And I was doing my official blogger job that day. And it's a lot of my... with my hat on. And my job is at that event to kind of go around and speak to people and find out what's new and what's up and coming and things like that. But really, it's in reality, I kind of know what's new. And you know what's up and coming, because I see a lot of it through our website. We have our own events, that sort of thing. But I was actually blown away by Karen and Matt's presentation at that event, and that really rarely happens for me, you know, because I've seen it all, that sort of thing. But your attention to detail and like your styling extras, everything like that. I think at that event you were styling the VIP area, and it was so much better that year than it had been in the past, because it was impactful and it was impressive. So with your styling extras, I know you're very passionate about them. What can you do, and what are you looking at now? What's popular? Tell us about it.
Flipping out, Julia, this for me is probably one of the best parts of the whole process, because this is where you get to put your own stamp on it. And like, I say that and I mean it with absolute conviction, because there's so many different kind of possibilities, and that's what's like, it's just, there's nothing else like it, I think, out there that gives you that blank canvas. So the neutral colours of the TP work just so well with so many different kind of themes, and like it honestly is limitless. That's what's like mega exciting, because you can literally pick any kind of theme, any colour tone, and they will all look absolutely breathtaking inside the teepees. But it's like, we really love this element so much, and we are always looking for like something that will kind of stand out, and something that will give couples kind of loads of kind of creativity and choice, and it's just everything, like you said, about details. We don't want a couple to kind of come to us and then have to kind of think, okay, well, where do I get my tables from? Where do I need linen? Where do I get chairs from? How do I go about filling these teepees with things that I'm passionate about and that I've fallen in love with? And sort of we kind of want to give them the support that they need. So we've got, I think you'll have probably seen them, and hopefully anybody else watching will kind of know about these things, but we kind of try to handcraft our own pieces of furniture, because we look at what's going on. We're mad about Pinterest and other kind of mood boards and blogs and everything like that. So we're always checking in with you and others to see what's kind of coming up and what's kind of popular. And that, like, we just do what we think fits kind of the teepees and the kind of that kind of rustic feel, and sort of that setting that is, you know, quite different to a more contemporary sort of venue or something like that. So we've got gorgeous wooden tables that we've made ourselves, just like round tables with beautiful oak parquet detailing on them. And it's weird, because when you see them, you actually want to stroke them, and you want to touch them, and you want to sit around them and actually enjoy those natural sort of materials as part of your decor and your sort of styling.
What I would say about your furniture items, though, is when you say rustic, there is a tendency to imagine like a rough finish.
Yes.
But I'm glad you mentioned the parquet detailing on the tables, because your products are not finished roughly, they are finished beautifully, and that is the difference, because that's your quality feel, isn't it, within that setting. So you still get your vibes, you sort of boho vibes, but it's done. You know, you're not getting splinters, are you?
Exactly. No, we promise no splinters, Julia. But no, it's
is that I wouldn't be writing that.
I know. No, but it is. I mean, it's something that we work really hard on, because there's loads of things that we think kind of add to the spaces. So everything from tables, like bar furnishings. So we've got loads of beautiful, like, handcrafted round bars, sort of long bars. So whatever you're kind of thinking, everything's been tried and tested, and it's really versatile as well. So we can split up like larger bar sections into smaller sections. So whatever people's space or budgets are, we can kind of flex the furnishings to suit. So like, we've got poser tables with stools, but you don't always have to hire the stools. So, you know, we try to kind of help people see that there's options to dress the spaces, but that there's variable sort of ways of picking and choosing the furnishings. And we're just in the middle as well of kind of releasing a brand new catalogue of unbelievable things. It's super exciting. It's like, we've been collecting gorgeous pieces for a little while now, and there's some really lovely things in there. So we've got some things that we think are quite bold sort of pieces, that we like to offer things that are maybe a bit more of a one-of-a-kind find, or a bit more of an unusual item. So there's loads of really lovely things in there, like the different types of sofas, so the big Chesterfield sofas, but really nice vintage sofas as well, so that you can match different types of themes or tones. Or also as well, like, we're pretty aware now that people aren't kind of into sort of necessarily animal products and things like that, so we've got a whole range of more kind of suitable if that's something that's important to people, which we see in more and more kind of couples expressing a real kind of passion for that as well. So we've got loads of items that they can choose from that will fit that brief, and then we've just got loads of cool fun props and like games and just things to bring a bit of light entertainment to the day, and to actually get guests to kind of interact and mingle and just let the hair down and just have like a really good time and just kind of get to know one another and let the competitive edge out as well if they want to with things. And so we try to kind of offer everything that you might need, be that outdoor furnishings from like lovely like deck chairs and boho seating, right the way through to kind of all of your internal sort of details. So, and some of my favorite things are like the massive like 3-meter hoops that just thick with flowers and foliage like that, and it's just gives people the choice to we've got the kind of structural details that people can dress in their own way to kind of really bring the spaces to life, and that is just so special. And we will give people loads of inspiration. We've got endless photographs and videos, and
well, this is what I want to do. I want you to give us some inspo, just for a bit of fun.
Okay,
so top tips for styling your teepee if we're going to go through a few themes.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to give you a theme.
Right, okay.
And you give us some ideas. Okay, so, right, we were just talking about florals.
Yes.
And the big hoops. So let's start off, let's ease you in.
Okay, thank you.
with a boho theme. So tell me about some styling elements and things you might do for a boho theme.
I would say this is probably one of my favorites because it kind of feels like me. It's for me, if I was to describe it, it's kind of soft, floaty, kind of like really pretty, delicate details, but also kind of like being quite daring with quite strong shapes and things like that. So we would say make like really big statement sort of arches or like hoops, but think about the choice of like florals and details that you can accent them with. So we've seen pampas grass have a massive revival, loads of kind of dried florals, but loads of like rich green foliage and like beautiful kind of like big sort of big flowers, big blooms.
I love like the sort of nude tones, like the coffee au lait, cafe au lait, and
absolutely.
dusky peach.
Yeah, and do you know what's really special as well is that like the lights that we install through the teepees, they can change to any sort of tone that you want. So actually like setting them to really lovely kind of warm tones throughout the space kind of accents all of those colours as well. So I would definitely say big trailing foliage, milk ends filled with flowers, maybe even a kind of a few hammocks and things outside.
We like a hammock.
You know, like loads of kind of beautiful kind of bright prints and different types of seating arrangements and things as well. So go for kind of a low level floor seating option. So pull together some great big cushions and rugs and blankets and get your kind of like beautiful platters laid out on like low pallet tables and things like that, and just everybody kind of gathering around picking at like different things. So I mean, I think that for me, like, just it feels like it should just be an abundance of florals and colours and lots of textures for that type of theme, I would say.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. I mean, I've got so many ideas after that. You've also made me hungry with sharing I think my lunch is over.
I think it's probably that time, isn't it?
And it's also about like, finding the right suppliers for that sort of thing, like the right sort of florist who's good at, your dried installations, and I guess and the right sort of caterer as well, who can provide those grazing platters. And I guess that you can also kind of help your brides and grooms with that as well, can't you?
Yeah, like we've worked with so many brilliant people in that, and we'll never take that for granted because it's a team effort. So teepees are spectacular as they are, but they're really transformed when you bring in kind of people who can work with the spaces and understand the heights and the scale and produce sort of installations or like floral sculptures that actually kind of fit the spaces and understand how, you know, how they all flow through one another, and actually kind of work with sort of like the fact that you might have to get up on a step ladder to dress the hoop because it's so high, or, you know, but we can help them with all the practical things like giving them winches and things like that, so that you don't have to kind of worry. Like, we will liaise with all of your suppliers as well to kind of like coordinate all of those details. So we're very often, you know, we'll talk through the ins and outs of like a full design scheme, including hanging installations, props outside the teepees, table decorations, anything you can imagine really. We can kind of make sure that we've covered the what sort of size is it, what do you need from us, when is it going to be installed, how is it going to be installed, and just let that kind of be taken care of by the experts, and let the kind of couples not really worry too much about that, but just think about the vision and the kind of end look that they want to create, and we can kind of make sure it fits the bill.
Yeah. Back to the fun stuff.
Yes.
Just like your couples will be doing. Okay, so a theme that I really quite like at the minute.
Go on.
Disco.
Oh, such a good theme. Love it. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's that for me is all about shiny, glittering, twinkling patterns, like shimmery kind of fabrics, just so much kind of like emphasis on all of the kind of metallics and things as well. If I was thinking about a disco theme, I would probably go for the biggest mirror ball I could find, and like have that right in the center of one of the teepees, right above the dance floor, and let the kind of lights and all the kind of twinkles kind of rotate and everything like that. And that in itself is just mind-blowing, because you see the mosaics on the mirror ball and you see the patterns on the teepee canvas. So that would be the star of the show, I think. But then I would go to town with kind of all of the little kind of details around the space. So I would have great big kind of I'd have flowers with like silver bases. I'd tie in metal accents as well on the furnishings. So I'd maybe pick things like sort of more industrial or kind of tables with like the kind of scaffold and accent details on the bottom, and just think about kind of those metal tones, copper frames, you know, anything that you can kind of tie in that would kind of fit that bill. I think there's so, like, again, it's just thinking about the textures and the colours. So you could literally, you know, you could have a really nice sort of side station next to the bar area, which has got specific kind of disco themed props or something. You could have kind of a really cool sort of like, just, it could be like the attire of the wedding party could be tied into that sort of glitter tones. What do you think? What would you do then, Julia, for that?
So what would I do for a disco thing? I think I love some of the ideas you've already come up with. I love the idea, and something I hadn't thought of is bringing the metals in for the chair. You can have metal chairs, you know, things like that. It's a great idea. I think that things like, you know, you get like the sort of the glitter palettes or the large sequins, like a curtains of those at the door. That'd be cool. Little mirror balls like in stacks around the venue, mirror ball backdrop. Lots of colour as well. The reason I said about the curtains is because I was thinking like sort of ribbon rainbow curtains, but actually, you know, you could bring them in like sort of glitter tones as well. I think that's a really cool theme. I think, and also neons as well. Some neon signage would be lovely for that.
And I think it lends itself really well to glow sticks and all of those lovely things. And you know,
a real party.
Yeah, absolutely. Like proper neons. And I think there's some really nice like neon signage and things as well that you can get. And they would just look brilliant. And the great thing about the teepees is you've got the kind of heights as well for that. So we can always talk to you about kind of where to put things like that. So if you're going for quite a big, bold backdrop, we can kind of help you with that. And if it comes to it and you're looking for kind of something that you want to hang these beautiful decorations off, but you're not quite sure of the size or the scale, we can kind of help you plan that all out. And actually, if you need a few like structural walls building or kind of backdrops that you want to fill with your own sequins, then we can help you with that as well. If you don't fancy doing it yourself, or you've got this vision in mind that you can't quite kind of find anywhere online or anyone to create that look. So we can definitely help, and I definitely would like to do a full-on party disco, because I think it's one of those things that's maybe not quite as sort of like it's not as common as
No.
the others, but it's still like utterly amazing, and I would probably choose that myself now that we've
yeah, it's good fun, isn't it? It's good fun.
Good.
So flipping that away again,
yeah.
How about, we talked a little bit about winter weddings before, how about a sort of romantic Nordic theme?
Oh, this one's,
no, I like this one.
Yeah, this one definitely is for the kind of the dreamy kind of like, ooh, look at this setting, it's gorgeous. So I'd say loads of candles, like absolutely everywhere. So on the tables, kind of like dressing sort of like aisles, walkways, and do things like big dreamy sort of lighting installations. So we've got loads of lovely pieces like kind of Edison lights or big sort of like statement chandeliers that you can hang from the top of the teepees, and we can always talk to you about kind of like the tone of the lights as well. So whether you go for that vintage sort of filament look to the light, or whether you want to be able to dim the lights or change the kind of like tones from day to night, we can kind of help you with that. Loads of fairy lights, 100% without question. And then just go to town, I think, with like textures, soft textures. So quite a simplistic kind of colour tone. With, you know, like some of our tables are just really neutral, lovely like pine coloured tables, but really accent those with kind of nice kind of soft textures. So reindeer skins, if we want those kind of things. You could have beautiful kind of pale neutral coloured florals, runners all down the centre of the tables, trailing foliage. Just kind of everything should feel quite sweepy and quite kind of dreamy, and just very kind of, I would say, lots of softness.
I'm thinking for this one, well, for this one I'd either go down the sort of like, I love the idea of the statement chandeliers, love that idea, because it brings a little bit of like a girly romance into it. So I'd either, for romantic Nordic winter, go down like that route with kind of like neutral florals, like very pale pinks, statement chandelier, definitely have the fire pits as a big feature, and lots of kind of soft, like fluffy textures, like you already said the reindeer hides, or soft, you know, like
and lovely like soft throws.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
I'd either do that, or I might go like, because I really like the kind of whites and acrylics and stuff that's coming through. So I might go for like sort of winter foliage with mistletoe and stuff like that, and then like the white rugs and the kind of shaggy rugs and sort of black accent stuff. Ooh, like some black accent like candelabras and things like that.
That sounds gorgeous. Very
I love this.
I think
love this game.
That's the thing. I mean, it's sort of, it can be anything that you want it to be, and you can, I think what's really nice about it is that you can either do certain areas like, and just go to town on like, say, the tablescapes and kind of bring your sort of styling through in that way, or you can literally take it across every single zone. So like you say, like right the way through, sort of like any kind of relaxed areas, like even the little posies and the little details on coffee tables are all tied through, and that for me always kind of completes the look. And that, I think it's those little details that you'll remember, that people can see that it's a cohesive sort of look throughout, and you can achieve that quite easily by just dotting a few of those touches around, really.
Yeah, and it's also like we were talking before, I don't know if it's just I'm hungry, but I'm just thinking about food constantly.
Yes, food.
But, let's do food. Food you serve as well. So, going for that kind of wintry vibe, go for kind of like a barbecue, or, for like a kind of like a hog roast, or just something like, substantial, or I think there's lots of different things you can do to fit with the theme, and I think that's all part of the fun, isn't it? And obviously Karen can help you out with that on the TV side. You've got so many ideas.
It's brilliant, because we kind of, although we don't do that, we kind of know what's out there, and we know kind of like people are so passionate about tying everything in, and it's not like there's no restrictions now. Like, you can talk to people in the industry who will literally create you something that's completely bespoke. And it, like you said, Julia, it can just be like about the choice of like meats, like really nice pulled sort of textures, lovely like colourful salads and things that, or just kind of the way that that you serve it. It could even be on great big kind of oak boards, and just everyone tucks in, and you just make a big thing of that interactive food, and actually kind of being able to have it shared in the middle of a table and just chat about what's on the platters and things like that. And it's just lovely, and that really ties it all together and makes everyone have a lovely big full belly, and then all they want to do then is either relax and grab a drink or go and have a boogie.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's so
and
nice.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Last theme then, because it's May as we're filming this. So how about like a really kind of like countryside May Day vibe?
Oh, this one for me, the first kind of words that sort of like spring to mind are like sort of wildflowers.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I just think about a teepee with kind of the fronts completely open, facing out to like a beautiful meadow, or kind of like a lovely like kind of cornfield, or you know, whatever it might be, but bringing those things in. So maybe like kind of like planters of flowers everywhere, like, but naturally grown flowers. So get your friends and family involved and get them all kind of like crafting and doing the kind of florals for you. Probably things like kind of like organic confetti packs dotted around. And I would probably say it feels like, you know, just big statement pieces. So you could pick a certain flower. So if you were thinking sunflowers, and just kind of dress everything with kind of those kind of little touches. So it could be dress up the side of like the teepee poles. I actually really like that when people put all of the foliage around,
like a maypole type vibe. I love like a delphinium, you know, like on the table, so like the big blue flowers.
Yes. Oh,
like
so
wildflowers, the little daisies. I think your milk churns would come in nicely here as well.
Just like loads of things like that, but like your bouquets have to be kind of totally wild and totally kind of oversized, and like massive like great big like head
flower crowns for the brides, so for little bridesmaids running around.
It's so nice.
That's gorgeous.
You know, you can do so much with that particular theme. It can be, there's loads of different variations to that. So dressing the tops of the teepees with kind of like lanterns, or kind of just ribbons
would be nice, wouldn't it?
Like cascading right the way down from the top of the teepee or something like that.
Or those big balls, you know, like the
flower ball. Or big, just anything really. Like we've seen kind of people do like the upside down flowers, around, and it's just about kind of bringing every single smell. I think it smells as well. So like you know, making sure that you've got kind of areas that smell like outside, so fresh kind of scented candles, bring in kind of, you know, sort of like picnics and hamper baskets and those kind of things, like flip-flops and picnic blankets sort of sat sort of like around or outside, and
hay bales,
loads of those, definitely. And then kind of like outdoor fire bowls, so like, you know, take that kind of wintry vibe but actually turn it into a long summer's night where you kind of sat around chatting with your drinks and your marshmallows and things like that, and just like watch the day go from like day to night, and watch the sun and the colours of the sun and change. So I think it's just let that interaction happen between the outside space and the inside space for that particular one, and long sweeping walkways down to kind of gates all lined with flowers,
festoons. Love this.
Love
these. I love all of these themes, actually. It's really hard to pick one. It's hard to pick a favourite. So how can a couple who are looking for a teepee wedding, how can they kind of start to plan that? And is it time to get in touch with you now, or what should they do?
Yeah, it's still absolutely the best time. Obviously it's a little bit different, and we're not able to kind of do our sort of normal sort of showcase events like you've mentioned, like the best way is to see them, but we are working super hard to kind of make sure that you've still got all the info that you need. So we've got loads and loads of brilliant resources. So whether that's kind of starting off with just a quick inquiry, and we can fire you over some suggestions of venues. Usually that's kind of the first step. So although you might not be able to go and see them, you can, loads of venues are doing the kind of virtual tours. We've got endless videos of different types of teepees and things that we can share with people, and that are all on the website as well. So we can point you in the right direction of things that will still give you loads of useful ideas. And it's certainly a good time, because actually what we can do is we can make the most of this time now and start sort of tailoring all of the sort of ideas that you've got, bringing those together, and then come sort of autumn, obviously we'll have the opportunity to welcome you back into the Tipis, and at that point obviously we can talk a bit more in depth about details. But right now we can still do floor plans, we can do virtual site visits, so we're doing things like kind of checking the sites out through photographs, WhatsApp, pictures, videos. We can still do kind of safe social distancing sort of visits as well if needs be. So if people do want to meet us, that's still an option and we can make that work. But I would say, like, just gather your ideas, gather your style, gather your theme, really work hard on that. Share that with me and I can sort of send you loads of great things back, and you can just kind of like really begin to kind of filter out what doesn't feel right, but actually what feels like it's starting to shape what you're after. So it's actually like better than ever, because use this time to channel like everything that you want for the day and actually try and get all of those ideas. We can still talk to you about kind of like developing quotations and things like that. So nothing really has changed in terms of the planning and the support. It's just at the moment, obviously, being able to see the Tipis is just temporarily on hold, but as I say, we can still get around that with great kind of resources and different things that we can send to you that will always be tailored to a couple as well. We wouldn't just send a load of stuff that's just completely irrelevant. So 100% talk to us, because the sooner the better, really, because actually it's going to be pretty busy sort of over the next kind of year or so. So actually the more we can get to know you and the more we can get a feel for what you're after, it means that we can more quickly help you kind of move towards sort of what you're looking for, and actually get that kind of almost set in stone for you, so you're pretty much ready to go really whenever's right.
Yeah, so how can a couple who are either now during the lockdown, or, you know, if they're watching this later and want to book you, how can they find you? What's your Instagram handle? Put it on again.
Dead easy, at Tipi Unique. It couldn't be easier. And yeah, we're always posting new content. We've got so many ideas for blogs and other kind of inspirational resources that we'll be putting up over the next kind of few weeks. So there's plenty to stay tuned for. And as I say, it's just super easy to get hold of us still through the website. I'm still kind of responding to kind of emails and phone calls. So just give us a shout. Basically, we're still here.
So what's your web address?
tipiunique.com, super easy. So you can pick up loads of kind of cool info on there. We're on Facebook as well and stuff, and we're even on Twitter. If anyone goes on Twitter, we still post on Twitter and things as well.
What's your Twitter?
At Tipi Unique.
There you go.
At Tipi Unique.
There you go.
It's super easy. Yeah, it's dead straightforward.
So, Karen, then, to finish off, tell us what you love most about your job.
Oh God! Oh my God!
You call it a job and not like a lifestyle.
It's hardly a job, to be honest. I think it's the ability to kind of help people let their imaginations run wild, and actually to say to them, anything is possible, and I will promise to make it possible for you. And when you help them out and you can kind of see that everything they've dreamt of and more comes to life. And I think 100% when we see photographs and videos afterwards and you see the reactions from everybody that's there, and you see the reactions from the couples to what they've created, you just can't beat it. And I'll never tire of asking for photographs, looking through photographs and talking to the couples afterwards and sort of saying, how was it? And every one of them says it's beyond their wildest dreams and the best day they've ever had, never could have imagined. And they always say, you know, our contribution was a huge part of that, and that's so special, and we do always feel really privileged to be part of that. So that will always be what I love the most about it.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's the truth.
It's lovely though.
Just
lovely that
it makes me feel happy inside that we get to be part of that with, you know, so many lovely couples, and we'll never ever tire of how wonderful this is and how nice this journey is for everybody.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Karen.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I could talk to you for hours.
I know, so
all the details. I would have booked a TP by the end of this, so it's best I end the call now. But thank you for joining us on Wedflics.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having us. I've absolutely loved it. Thanks, Julia.